Also,
there's
so
Eli.
help
He's
me.
coming in.
One of our Halloween picks
Let's just.
has to be Evil Dead at some point. For the sake of this,
we're live, Eli, but
Evil
it's
Dead
more
2.
like a pre-show thing. I'm going to share the show.
yeah,
out.
Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 2 should definitely be in the Geekterion.
Oh yeah,
collection.
Dead Till Dawn.
Oh, Dead Till Dawn, man.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I love Army of Darkness too, of course. Like, no
yeah,
bullshit.
but Evil Dead 2 is by far my favorite movie.
Oh, it's the best
out of all three of them.
That's like one of my.
We're live. We're
going to
talk about The Fifth Element soon. What Eli? Is that Eli?
Yeah,
I said
It is
Evil
Eli.
Dead 2 is like one of my all-time favorites.
Oh,
I'm
masterpiece.
just
It's a
happy Eli was
masterpiece.
able to make it with all the shit that could have been going down. I'm very thankful. I
Oh,
know that
yeah,
sounds very
yeah.
selfish of me to be thankful.
I
for a
wasn't
thing
going to go
happening.
anywhere. I wasn't
But
going anywhere.
man, my fear is they're going to shut the internet down in one of these cities next.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, there were rumors of that going on, or people getting blocked from posting.
Yeah.
They were down by all the protests and shit.
That's enough shares. The hell with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's just do it. Let's just do the intro. Leroy always fashionably late. He always looks fine when he shows up. I don't get it.
He's got to shop at that grocery store, man.
The new banner, the banner I'm using is from now on is going to be what I think Leroy is going to use as his username when he pops in. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Very classy. The Geekterion Collection, the best of the best of the best in geek cinema. I'm your co-host Gomer, co-host Adam Normal, co-host Eli, co-host Jules True. Leroy will be here in a minute. Check out the Comic Book Bullies. We'll do that commercial real quick. Just Google everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, all the social medias, all that good stuff. It's freaking great. Oh, look, I guessed it right. He's not even in yet. But yes, we're just talking about movies. This one. I'm multi-pack. I knew it. My new banner for this is every time Leroy's going to be on the show, I'm going to guess what he chooses as a username. This time around, we are doing the Geekterion Collection, The Fifth Element. So let's just get into it. Fifth Element. In France, it's Le Cinquième Element. 1997, English
the
language.
French name.
French. It's a French movie. I think that
It
explains
is
a
a
lot
French
of the
movie, but
weirdness going on. Science fiction action film directed and co-written by Luc Besson, who has done some crazy shit.
Le film Nikita.
Yeah, I mean, that's good though. I love that shit.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Leon the Professional is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
I mean, it even stands up, even though it's all kind of a little bit.
It's all kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
all times it's fucked up.
So hey, Michelle, thanks for stopping by.
My cousin Sharon to my cousin.
She's awesome. It's primarily set in the 23rd century. The plot involves the survival of the planet Earth, which is so egotistical, given the context. I'll get to it, which becomes the responsibility of Corbin Dallas, played by Bruce Willis, who is a taxi cab driver and somehow also a former Special Forces major. Again, this is a recurring theme of this movie, how everything is so conflicting. After a young woman played by Mia Jovovich falls into his cab to accomplish this, Dallas joins forces with her to recover 4 mystical stones to defend Earth against an ultimate evil. Hey, thank you for the share. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
Matter of fact, let me share.
Yeah, go ahead.
I shared it. Yeah.
Thanks,
Share it
guys. Besson
Smash
started writing.
the like button.
Smash the like button. Besson started writing this story that would become this when he was like 16 years old. The early, talk was that he stole this shit straight from Star Wars, and later on he did admit, yes, he did. Star Wars was one of the main.
Who doesn't steal their sci-fi shit from Star Wars a little bit? I mean,
we're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but honestly, I think George Lucas took some shit from this.
Oh,
maybe, yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Definitely keep that in your mind. We want to talk about that. When he was 38 when this opened in 97, it was shot in France. He wanted to shoot in France, but he couldn't. So he shot it all around England, London, and Mauritania mostly. Mobius, Jean Girard, the comic book artist, and Jean-Claude Mézeret provided inspiration for the shit. Jean-Paul Gaultier did the costume design. I mean, he's just a fashion, guru.
He did Madonna's comb bra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Vogue bra. You know what they call it, the Vogue bra?
Mm-hmm.
Something. Yeah.
I miss that. We need to bring that back.
We don't. No.
We leave it where it
mostly
is.
positive reviews for
Leroy
this,
has
but it did
spoken.
polarize critics, and that's really what I want to get into. All right, let me run through the cast real quick. Bruce Willis as Corbin Dallas. Taylor jumped in. George Lucas absolutely took some shit from this. Awesome.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
I did forget to mention that it is 420. Happy 420, everybody. But for me,
It was Tuesday.
It's just a fucking Tuesday. So Bruce Willis as Corbin Dallas, Mia Jovovich as Lilu, who makes the movie, in my opinion. Not only is she just a beautiful actress, but she goes from just naive, dumb to super sad to just Betsy badass at the blink of an eye. The amazing Gary Oldman as Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg. I'm representing Zorg. Gary Oldman, man, I'm worried one day that I'm gonna just snap out of it and I might be fucking Gary Oldman playing myself.
That's how good he is.
He's so fucking amazing.
He's amazing in this.
Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, which, I mean, I don't even know if it's racist for me to ask Leroy about this character and the black community, but I think we're going to get to it eventually.
I have questions.
I figured you would.
That. So yeah,
I figured you would. The late great Tommy
Zeus,
President
Zeus
Debo
as the president. I mean, this is very early on in movies where there was a black president. So groundbreaking.
I do
maybe.
have something to say about that. Also, every apocalyptic movie always has a black president. Back in the night. I was like,
Morgan
why?
Freeman.
Why?
Who was it in 2012? What's his name from?
Blame the world ending on the black guy.
Right.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. They even made jokes about that shit when Obama was elected. It's like, oh well, here we go. Here comes the asteroid.
I want to also point out almost all of those movies are white savior movies on top of that.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
The fuck.
Yeah. Luke Perry has a cameo as, just some weird guy.
That's right.
Aziz.
Yeah, just as some assistant dude in the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. The great Brian James as General Monroe. Brian James is one of those actors like the dude from that one thing, you just recognize.
He's usually a villain. That's
he's
weird.
usually a villain.
Usually a villain in every role.
Yeah. Lee Evans is Fogg. Tricky is in here as the right arm. Oh, I forgot to mention Ian Holm as Vito Cornelius, the great Ian Holm.
Bilbo.
Yeah, the Bilbo Baggins himself. I do have more pictures. We got.
Oh yeah.
Mywin Lebesco as Diva Plavalaguna. This is actually what she looks like when she's not blue.
That was his wife at the time.
Yes.
Luke Besson. Yeah, that was his wife.
Yes,
What's fucked up about this? He divorces her and marries
Mila.
Yeah,
right
after the movie was over.
Like right after the premiere. Like they went from the premiere to the chapel. All right, let's get into this.
And now she's married to
Paul W. Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another director.
That's why she's in all the Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
Because he directs all of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've all seen
and
the
Monster
Office.
Hunter movie.
You marry who you work with, and that how it works?
Definitely.
We've all seen The Office. The Fifth Element is probably the best, worst science fiction movie I've ever seen. It's awesome. The visuals are great. The music is great. The fashion is great. It dumps you into a sci-fi universe and doesn't give a shit if you can't keep up. I mean, just Corbin's apartment is full of such weird shit, man. The yellow circles, his bed, the auto wash, his fridge. It's all just weird. And they don't care if you can't keep up. And I like that. That's, it's got some shit going on there. But the main themes of this movie are all contradictory and conflicting. All right. It should all cancel each other out. It's loud and it's dark. It's funny and frightening, but it's a story about a woman who was created to save the universe, but she can only save the universe if a man tells her that she loves her. Okay. Corbin is manly, right? Manly heroism, but he's just socially inept. He's kissing a sleeping woman. Lilu's sitting there sleeping. Come on. He's scared of a
also
guy
like
named...
old enough to. He's old enough to be your grandpa.
No
Yeah.
Yeah, that
shit.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
No shit, yes, he is.
Yes.
She was literally born yesterday.
Yeah, literally born yesterday. I'm gonna get to that too. He's scared of a guy named Finger.
Yep.
Finger.
Finger.
All right. This average Joe masculinity, right, of men like Bruce Willis, is countered with just like some of the most unmacho, gender-bending male co-stars that have ever seen. But that dude is like a big, famous sex symbol
Mm-hmm.
in this universe. Talking about Ruby Rod, he seems to have a lot of complexity as a black, maybe fluid, a bit flamboyant, just a very progressive character. But he's really only there for comic relief and to make the lead character seem more masculine than he already is, wearing his orange shitty
Pretty
shirt.
much everybody in this movie to
Definitely,
make
yeah.
Bruce Willis look good. But yeah.
Yes, everybody in
yes.
this movie is meant to make Bruce Willis look like he's just more effective, but everybody is just terrible, is ineffective.
Well, it's like Bruce Willis is like the only one who's like not from that world almost. Like he's just like the regular
He's
guy.
Bruce Willis. That's what he is. Bruce
I know
Willis.
everyone else.
He went from Nakatomi Plaza
Right.
after New Year's, went into space.
He's
Yeah,
almost
it's-
like godlike compared to everybody else in this movie.
It's
like
weird,
everybody
dude.
else is very flamboyant and they're all over the top performances, and then Bruce Willis is just, oh yeah, I'm Bruce Willis.
I'm here, yeah.
No,
But Ruby Rod, I was just talking about him. He's hitting on every woman in the movies, and he's successfully doing it. You know, he's this stud. It's weird, dude. It's very progressive, but it's very contradictory. It's a tale about the folly of humanity in creating the means of its own destruction through capitalism, but it also relies on the presence of an absolute evil to bring about total annihilation, which is just, in the context of telling a story, you literally have two bad guys here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not like a metaphor for each other. They're totally different. You have capitalism, and then you have the absolute evil. Zorg is a capitalist who is okay with all of humanity being wiped out, which is a complete contradiction. Capitalists need
People.
They kind of need
People to
humanity,
exploit.
to make money,
Yeah.
they don't really go into like why
Yeah.
he's doing or who.
It didn't really make any sense. It was
made
like
no
if you wipe
sense.
out everybody, how are you gonna make money off that?
Yeah, how you gonna
And
say
wouldn't that wipe
can't
you out
fire?
too? I'm just-
Yeah.
or just the big ball of evil. What is that? What is it? Where did it come from? We don't know. And
Yeah,
why?
there's not even a
why
metaphor
is-
for it.
Yeah, and why is Zorg in league with it? Like, what's he trying to gain? Like, whatever.
Like they said that the big ball of energy was going to kill everybody, and
Everything.
Zorg is still helping it. Yeah, but Zorg is helping him out for some reason. I don't even know why those pig monsters are helping him out. Didn't he like kill them when they tried to get the
So
thing?
the pig monsters aren't really helping him out. They're helping themselves out because they are angry at him for like double crossing them earlier in the movie.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Oh, I
That's
was
right.
wondering that. I was like, if he killed them,
The
why
gun.
are they still working? You know,
Because they got double crossed on the guns earlier in the movie, which
Exactly.
is
That
actually
doesn't make any
Corbin's-
fucking sense
Well, 'cause
either.
it's
It
actually
doesn't really.
Corbin's
Yeah,
fault.
you're right,
Right.
but that is the explanation. Yeah.
Give me the ultimate power in the universe, and I'll give you some guns.
Yeah. And those poor suckers, you know.
Man.
There's a black president, like we mentioned, but it doesn't feel like he has much power at all. He's telling his general up in space, hey, shoot this, maybe not shoot this guy. And dude's like, fuck you, Mr. President. I'm just going to go ahead and shoot this thing anyway. And the whole government just seems inept and unable to just
but that's in every Bruce Willis movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's kind of like a running theme. It's like he's the one man that can do everything, regardless of how the government or the police or what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the soul of this movie is. Bruce Willis in space. That's what soul this movie.
Yes.
Honestly.
With hot chick.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, though, you found that out after you watched the movie, you're like, oh, she's awesome. But to sell you on the movie, it was
Yeah.
Bruce
They
Willis
had
in
to give
space.
you
That's it.
Bruce
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
this idea that capitalists are in charge, but Zorg hires just the most inept dumbasses. I'm sorry, Tricky is just terrible. I mean, he's the worst henchman since Bob. Okay.
Oh,
right.
we're not gonna talk about Bob like that.
Okay. Bob is
Put some
great
respect
and all,
on Bob's name.
And then after he fires his main guy's right arm, that's Tricky's title in this, which is so terrible. He decides to do it himself. No billionaire is gonna fucking go. I don't care.
mean, if a big evil space monster calls you on your private line to tell you, you're gonna get your ass up and go do it yourself.
You're like, I'm not gonna trust nobody anymore.
I can't imagine Jeff Bezos getting in the truck and delivering my shit.
And and somehow jizzes on his head through the phone or something, or whatever.
I know. What was that? What is that? He did.
I'm going to say this because I love this movie, and how I've always seen this movie is it's satire of true science fiction. It is totally playing up the fact that most science fiction is absolutely fucking ridiculous. If you really stop and think about it, and that's why I think it's so contradictory, is a lot of it is on purpose to just kind of be like, the movie doesn't
think
do
so.
Yeah, I think you're looking way into it.
I think you give this movie too much credit.
Yeah,
I think you do too.
They really were trying to make a sincere movie, and this is what we got. That's what
it accidentally got ironic.
Right.
But you got to think about it. It is French.
Well, what does
that
mean?
is true.
Also,
I mean, the big satire is a French word, guys. Like,
sure.
Satire. They love to perform satire. He literally is almost making fun of him his whole movie. Like the government being inept, the capitalists going and selling for all the wrong fucking reasons.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has a real passion in this story. It just kind of all happens.
Like McDonald's is like Taco Bell from Demolition Man in this somehow.
Yes.
Product placement.
Product placement.
Yeah,
the movie is inherently anti-capitalist. I don't know what fucking McDonald's and Coke were thinking. Putting their products in this.
That's like
they were thinking a lot of people are going to be watching this movie.
Man, McDonald's
and they're
comes
going to
off
be hungry when this movie's over with.
McDonald's comes off as a terrible place to eat in this.
Oh, absolutely.
When the cops run into the train and like full already made burgers are already falling out of the train.
It's awesome.
And Lilu is pouring shit in a bowl and putting it in the microwave, and a whole turkey is popping out.
Like in seconds.
I don't know why we need McDonald's.
Yeah,
Eli,
it's interesting how, I mean, when you hear the story that Luc Besson like wrote this story or concocted the story when he was a kid, and created this world for himself to escape to, and it was like a movie he wanted to make his whole life. And when it finally comes out, it is sort of this goofy, movie that it is, because there is times where it goes into complete slapstick, where like they shove the dude in the drawer. Ian Holm gets shoved in the drawer.
The Lilu fight.
Oh yeah,
she's cartooning, slapping that dude.
Yeah, or when when
that whole scene where he's stuffing all the military people into the fridge and Ian Holm into the.
Or Brian James, like Lilu grabs his tie and like knocks him out, and he like and he falls backwards like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah,
so it's just really, really weird. I mean, I always just thought it was interesting that it had this really goofy slapstick element to this like big.
I'll let add
extravagant
fuel to
epic.
Jules' satire fire. That he made it purposely slapstick in some areas. Just
it definitely has a lot of comedy to it.
It has a lot of comedy to it. I'm a big fan of Kurt Vonnegut, who is a famous sci-fi writer that almost exclusively wrote satire, where a lot of it was serious, complex, and there was deep metaphor, but a lot of it was just bullshit, and he's just fucking with you. And it was kind of just there to make you laugh. And a lot of that comes off that way, where it was like, yeah, but you know what? We did all this like intense stuff. Now let's just have something really funny happen in the middle of this fucking movie.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a lot of fun, but it tries to make you think about all the wrong things, because if you think about it long enough, you're like, well, that's just fucking stupid.
Well, one of my favorite things about this movie, though, is it moves along so fast that you don't really have to think about anything
and
long
everything
enough
is just
before
so damn
an action
beautiful.
Scene happens.
Yeah,
and everything is so damn beautiful, man.
Oh, definitely.
It holds up.
It's gorgeous,
surprisingly well. I mean,
it's
that
beautiful.
big McDonald's sign.
Man, that big McDonald's sign.
I mean, even the airport where it's just half filled with trash, it's still just a compelling, set to look at. These guys
spends that time where they're like, I need some fire here, and it like you spend time with like the workers. Like there's
when they're loading up
dedicated,
the fuel.
Where you're just seeing the workers work on this aircraft. It's like
It's
long
like a
scene.
really long scene for
Yeah.
some reason.
It is. That dude's
Man.
smoking a big fat joint and he's hanging
Yep.
out with the new guy. You almost get to know who these characters are at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you never see him again. After
And
that.
then you never
Yeah,
see him
see
again.
him again.
And that last image you showed, it had the noodle guy cart. I love that scene where
Oh,
he's just
I love the noodle guy
eating with a
cart.
noodle guy
Yeah.
who's just up at his window serving noodles to him for some reason.
It's so
You know,
weird.
That's
it's
your
so
ode to
weird,
Blade
but
Runner right there.
yeah,
but yeah,
Blade Runner.
but
yeah, for sure.
it really tells you something about the universe of this this movie.
Well, and this is like an actual bridge, right? This is the
Oh,
Brooklyn
yeah.
Bridge over here, right, or something. Eli would maybe know more.
Because they're in New York. They're in New York.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
they're
is in New
definitely
York.
in New
Yeah.
York. Well, that first image I showed, you see how this is like supposed to be the Statue of Liberty over here.
That they
And
elevated.
they've elevated and built, or the oceanists have, gone in
Mhm.
one direction or another. But just all these cars flying around and the cops. I mean, all right, the cops are going to catch this girl. They want to rescue this girl who the government said, we need this woman alive. And they just start making this dude's car into Swiss cheese, all right?
Yep.
These cops are inept and
Those
terrible.
helmets look like Judge Dredd.
They do.
If they
A little
do.
bit,
Like
yeah.
I
And I almost
said-
want to say that's done on purpose.
Oh, absolutely. That goes
Yeah.
back to what I said. This movie is
Yeah.
clearly satire. Is that there's so many things that are homages to, or little parodies of other famous
More
things.
like
Like-
pastiche.
Yeah, like the
It's sort of like the
McDonald's is
Squadron Supreme. It's not
Right.
really making fun of it.
right, but it's embracing it in a different way.
Yeah.
Like the McDonald's
Yeah.
sign to me is the Coca-Cola from Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
just product placement. That
Yeah, it
McDonald's
is. It
pays
is.
for that.
Oh, totally.
But I'll say it again.
but
I
doing
will
it
not
is
eat at this
very-
McDonald's. This
No, no.
McDonald's seems gross,
But-
man.
But doing it, yes, it's product placement. But if you're a huge sci-fi fan, you do think of that Coke sign when
Yeah.
you see it in Blade Runner as
Yeah.
well.
Or even the one from Superman too.
Or even-
Don't go
yeah.
back that far.
What, you mean the Marlboro cigarette truck?
Yeah.
Superman slinging them cigarettes.
Oh.
So yeah, what else? I mean, the movie is just gorgeous. That's the biggest thing for me. Just how there's all this attention to detail when it comes to the sets and the costumes and even sort of the designs of the characters, who they are in their hearts. But then everything is just lost in these contradictions. It's not a lot of detail.
Well,
like
you know,
we were
I don't
saying,
really
the dude at
think-
the airport, we don't really get to meet
No.
that
So-
guy. The girls digging
unlike-
on the golden menus, we don't get to meet them. We just see them. It's weird. Those,
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, unlike most sci-fi, I don't think this is really meant to be examined in that way. This is kind of just meant to be, watched as it is. It's meant to just come and go. Right? It's not really meant for you to examine the themes of it, because I don't really think there are really that many deep themes.
There really
to it.
aren't that many deep themes.
See, I disagree. I think
I think
the problem is that there are themes,
there are
but
lots
then
of
the
themes.
movie itself contradicts what you think it's trying to say about the themes. Like I said, it's capitalism is bad,
Right,
but it's not
that's-
so bad
that's
that we
because
don't
I don't
need
think
another
the-
big bad.
I don't think the writer of this, I don't think the director really had a theme to begin with. He was just making up stuff as he went.
Other
yeah.
than love is the answer. That's
Other than love is the
Love is
answer.
Yeah.
and fuck your boss.
Yeah.
Because
Ugh.
at the end of the day, this is about a guy who got fired and basically rages against the machine that fired him.
Come on,
Zord
man.
was his boss.
Love
He-
is the
Hey,
answer.
that's another thing.
But
He never meets Gary Oldman in the movie. They never.
Oh,
he didn't know he
one
exists.
purposely
time.
cross.
They
Like Ron
crossed
gets
one
out the
time.
elevator while Oldman is getting on the elevator.
Yeah, that's the closest they get to having a scene
That's
together.
purposely
Like
done.
the hero and the villain of the movie never even meet each other. Probably never
See-
even know if each other exists.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
at
And
the
that's
end of the day-
purposely done.
Oh,
You can tell
totally.
that's purposely done.
Totally.
Which again pushes me back to believe that Besson did know what he was doing with
Oh, totally.
making these themes and contradicting himself, man.
I said it's satire because at the end of the
I
day,
don't know,
the
man.
boss that you have that is fucking you, who is your
Yeah.
living villain in your life, couldn't tell you what you look like, who you look
Sure.
like, and
Jeff
maybe you
Bezos
don't really
know who the dude in the
yeah,
warehouse is.
yeah, and you rarely know what they actually look like in person. If you saw them in person, it's just some dude. And there it is, the two characters pivotal to the story: the guy that fucked over this other guy, and the guy getting his vengeance and ruining his life. And they couldn't tell you.
Now, Eli said that love is the answer, but isn't it sex is the answer? I'm sorry, I don't see Corbin and Lilu making it through the weekend. Okay, honestly, this is just a fling. Once she can.
I don't see Corbin
better.
making it through any relationship really with the way he was living beforehand.
Dude,
I don't see him surviving their fuck session because
no, not at all. No. No way.
If she's supposed to be the perfect being, and she can smash for fucking days, and
he's not gonna be able to keep
his
up.
old ass ain't gonna keep up.
There's the future. It's the future. He might have like a Reebok pump,
like in Cocoon where they share themselves. Maybe. They don't have to touch each other. It is.
Well, that's another thing. All right. One of the themes of the movie is how important life is. Okay.
Right.
But there are aliens all around. We know there are. But somehow Earth is still egotistically the center of all life in the universe because that's where they go into attack. And they proved it by bringing Lilu back from dead. And the Brian James character, General whatever his name is, he dies at least twice in this fucking movie, and they bring his ass back. Well, how important is life if all you need is like a fingernail or a toenail, and you can just clone their ass and bring them right back? Again, that doesn't make sense to me, man. That doesn't make sense to me. What is going on?
Yeah, it's got a very idealistic message.
Because
it does. It's a very much does.
I think that's about it. I think that's all he meant.
I'm trying to make sure you guys are not bailing Luc Besson out of whatever he was trying to say. Because honestly, I do feel like
I've seen this movie like 50 times. I'm still not fucking sure what he was trying to say.
Because honestly, I do feel like a lot of time with sci-fi, and not just with movies, with comics, video games, they're so concerned about the lore. Like Halo, for instance, they just they got this thesis, they got this thesaurus, and there's so much stuff in it, but there's no real theme to it, no real message to it. It's just lore. It's just there. And I think that's what he was doing here. And I think we're trying to find a theme. We're fishing for themes. And it may or may not be there. I mean, but it was not nothing clear cut.
I think the deepest it goes is when Gary Oldman's choking on the pit. And then he has that conversation like, all this shit you think is important really doesn't mean anything when it's the,
But who is saying that to him?
It's Ian Holm.
I know the priest, preacher, the religious guy is saying that to him. See, if I really want to examine that and look into that, I could go on and on about religion over capitalism and the similarities and
or that like all religions have one basic idea, which is don't be a dick.
Yes.
Maybe. And all the rest of it is bullshit.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw this out to you. A big it mostly was plays at first, but it's deeped into everything in French culture. But there's a thing called absurdism. The idea that you tell a story.
Definitely some of that going on.
That's just fucking ridiculous. And you can make a few points, but the whole point of absurdism is that life is fucking complicated. There are no absolute fucking answers. Anybody could get shit from fucking anything if they want to. You can have faith in fucking mud. But at the end of the day, there's just fucking words. Who the fuck cares? You can just live life and not worried about it.
I don't know, man.
You can spend all day trying to find the answers out of something that has none of the.
So the message is there's no message.
There is no message.
I refuse to believe that.
I refuse to believe that because there is a message. Eli is right. Love is the answer. That is the message of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dope graphics.
And there's probably something consistent. If you watch some of his movies, Luc Besson's movies, there's always some sort of performance. Everyone's faking something. Like La Femme Nikita, she's pretending to be this housewife and she's an assassin. You have that in Professional, he's the hitman's trying to be the dad. They have that one scene where they're playing they're trying to guess the movie stars and they're playing different movie stars and shit. And then you have Lilu Dallas, I'm gonna pretend to be this guy's wife, and then why we spend so much time on the diva. That's a whole sequence just on this musical performance.
I love that. That's probably the most.
One of the best
now, here's the thing. I thought that song was impossible for a regular person to sing until I went to YouTube.
There's an Asian a singer. I don't know her name, but I've seen that same video. Yeah, she almost nails that shit. It's really close. Sorry, let's go through all the characters. I guess main characters one at a time.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis again.
As Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Good
Bruce
job.
Willis.
Good job. Good job, Leroy. But Corbin Dallas. I mean, again, is he a fish out of water because why did he quit the military? Why is he a taxi cab driver now? If he's such a badass, why did he leave? And you know what I mean?
I'm thinking they hinted at that. I think he left on purpose because it ruined his marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they do kind of hint at that, and his relationship with his mom.
Yes, they had all of that. It destroyed his relationship with people.
Okay. I mean, he is like a lady with the cat now. He's like,
Yeah, he stopped liking people.
Yeah.
And Lilu likes everything because she doesn't know how fucked up people are yet.
She's so polarized.
Because she hasn't gotten to W in Wikipedia yet.
Yeah, war. Yeah, no shit.
That's exactly it.
Lilu, Dallas, and Ultron, the only motherfuckers that get on the internet and want to kill everything on the planet.
Yeah.
But Lilu is she's the strong female character. She got these weird tropes, the silent ass-kicking woman, young woman, the born sexy yesterday. But it's just so weird to me that she's like, fuck all life on this planet unless someone loves me. What?
Well, to be fair,
you
she
are
has
a villain,
pretty.
Lilu. You are
To
a
be
fucking
fair, she
villain.
has a pretty shitty go at life at the very beginning because I mean, she is a test experiment
Yeah.
right off the bat, and then she does get shot right before that part at the end too.
But she knows she's the fifth element. She knows that her only thing is in existence is supposed to be the dude.
Oh yeah, she's super smart. She's super smart.
But screw everything if it's just going to be violence all the time. If it's just going to be people trying to kill her or use her all the time.
Well, Bruce Willis is literally doing that at the end.
I know.
Took advantage of her
this
ass
movie
once.
contradicts itself.
Yes.
But did she not take advantage of him?
In what way?
Okay, when she falls into the cab and the police are coming after something
sure.
And she starts doing the puppy dog eyes and the tears, please, blah, 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 and then she kind of manipulates him.
She does.
Yeah,
absolutely manipulates him.
That's woke, man. You get canceled for saying shit.
Well, yeah, good thing she was hot. If it was
and that's another thing.
Bit also.
Yeah, she was a fat, fugly bitch. Then
he would have thrown out all day. Police, come
here. All the cops here. Sorry.
Right here.
But this is almost going back to Lilu. She's almost the first example we can mention of the manic pixie dream girl trope.
Oh man,
like that really
definitely.
hot
Just
chick that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
but you're in love with her,
Weird,
but you
quirky.
can't have her. Yeah, and after her, that's all you saw, like in a late.
You'll put up with the bullshit to get some,
Exactly.
The poster child for the Manny Pixie.
And it'll be just and you're like,
yeah,
and then you're stuck with it. And like,
yeah.
But at the end of the day, she's fucking crazy.
Which leads back to Corbin Dallas being kind of a piece of shit. The army fucked me up, but if I can get me a piece of ass, I'm willing to go back. I mean, and the worst part about that is Lilu kicks way more ass than Corbin Dallas.
Does she?
I think she does.
Dude, there's
she's
that
a
whole
better
scene
ass kicker,
she
but I don't
literally
think she kicks as much ass. Because
she does. In the third act, she kind of disappears.
She does.
And then Bruce Willis becomes Bruce Willis. It turns into Die Hard in Space after that.
That is a really weird thing
with
about
the help
this
of
movie
Ruby Rod, his sidekick somehow.
Is a lot
We'll
of the female characters, what little female characters there are, really have a passive role in this movie through most of the plot until Lilu decides that she wants to actually kick some ass.
That makes no sense to me. It just did she learn kung fu the same way Neo did?
Yeah, she did. They show it. They show it. Yeah,
she
learned it from Bruce Lee. She watched Bruce Lee movies.
She watched Bruce Lee movies. Yeah,
it's so weird. Zorg, I mean, Gary Oldman, he can play anybody. I don't even know who he is supposed to be playing here.
It's weird because he's like, I mean, it's supposed to be like this French, it's made in France, and we know Gary Oldman's, he's British, and then it's take place in New York, but he has like this Southern preacher accent.
A really weird accent,
from
but
the
I love it.
Florida Panhandle or something.
Yeah, he reminds me of like Lindsay. He reminds me of Lindsey Graham. You know what I
mean? He reminds me of, like, I'm from Florida. So to me, he's a North Florida NRA oil guy. Like, he might own a car company and a gun store. Like, I've met that guy. He usually, like, Jacksonville, PCB, like, those guys, like, own half those cities.
And started a barbecue sauce too.
Yeah,
Try my barbecue sauce.
But
that's that guy.
Zorg is a badass. He's the evil, dude. You can tell. They use a lot of tropes, a lot of gimmicks to get that over. Fire 1 million and him screwing over the Mangalores early on.
Oh, and that weird
just that image right there.
The weird alien cat that's over him like a Bond villain. It's like this shit is gonna be there.
Weird, dude.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
But then he just plays like the pivot on the heel turn so that the big bad, what is that wrestling term when the dude who's the best guy gets beat up real easily to get over
squash
the new guy. Yeah, he just squashes so easy.
He gets squashed
over this nameless black ball of space shit, and it makes no sense. Like Eli said, he gets like a black cum on his face.
Yep.
Somehow, I don't know. I didn't get that.
I feel like there was a point in the script where that black ball glob thing didn't exist. And someone was like, if you want funding for this, you cannot make capitalists to be the end all be all. This.
No.
You gotta throw next. Because
he added way too much shit with that thing. There was way
that's
too much.
Point. Like, all of the movie feels like it fits perfectly with each other. But that shit is just extra, and it feels that way. It feels like they add shit to that movie. I'm just saying, if you take that out, the movie's totally fine.
No, you need that thing.
No, I need black cum on heads.
You need the black cum.
That's a great scene.
I can't believe that's what we
It really is when it's just all subtly, and he's like, oh God.
Because doesn't it happen to the general too in the beginning?
Yes.
Like he jizzes on the general.
Yes,
jizzes on the general.
He's talking to him, and there's like through the vid screen, it happens to the general in the opening scene. Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of the opening scene, the president, Tiny Zeus, he's just so awesome. But again, he's very reminiscent of how ineffective the government is.
He doesn't do anything,
But without the government. But here's another thing, okay? The government is the one that gets everybody together, sets up, them going to Floss in Paradise and gets all that shit. But Lilu, Corbin, and the priest are all there before anyone else gets involved. They're all hanging out.
Yep.
And those are the three motherfuckers you need to get the shit done. It's weird. Well, I was gonna save her for last, but worst part of the movie for me, the stones are in me. Man, that's a bold strategy to hide.
It's a bold strategy.
To hide box in your tummy is I haven't seen anything like that. It's like kangaroo style shit, man. The even weirder part about that is the stones are in me. And Corbin figures it out. Like, I gotta cut this lady open.
Right. Just starts digging into her.
Right here, right now, in the middle of
the house. What if it was somewhere else, bro? Like,
what if
you're like, oh shit, it's
like, oh, they're not here. I mean, that is a webcomic.
Is it her ass or something?
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know how big the stones were. I mean,
what do you mean? Are you saying they grew like that shit you put in a bathtub and then you get a dinosaur at the end? No.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, we know they're tiny and she's like, God damn it, they were just in my hand. Why did you have to cut me open?
Dude, that makes no sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. But I always think that, what if
she's an alien? She's an alien.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's an alien.
A rock eater. She's a big blue rock eater.
Right. Maybe she could throw that stuff up afterwards. Who knows?
How did they put that in there? Did they open her up? I feel like he just pulls them out. It's not like he cuts through extra organs and.
Well, she was already shot, so he just digs his hand through the
gun hole. Yeah.
Through the gun hole. Luckily, she was shot that he was able to dig in through the gun hole.
Thank God for that.
She got some pipes though, man. That's dope jam. I got that actually on a USB, and I played in my car sometimes going down the street. Honestly, and now Ruby Rod, probably the most memorable character, even with Lilu being in this, because I mean Chris Tucker was coming off of some shit doing this movie. I think he had not done his stuff with Jackie Chan yet, which those were great.
Rush Hour, yeah.
I don't think he had done Rush Hour yet.
Yeah, done Friday because I knew
he had done Friday. And man,
Friday, and I think Dead Presidents had come out already.
Yeah,
right. He did a Charlie Sheen movie that was actually pretty funny.
Oh yeah. Money Talks or some shit.
Money Talks, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But man, this Ruby Rod is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction because he is just so he's flamboyant and he's out there and he makes you wonder, but man, he can just make it with all the girls. Everybody loves him. He's adored, and he's just the worst sidekick, you know.
Oh,
but
definitely.
He's the second most effective character. I say even more than Lilu. He is very effective. He gets the job done and he communicates something to the audience. Leroy is not happy about.
When I watched this in the theaters, I saw this. I was like, I'm out. I'm done.
So
I stayed through it, but I was like,
Yeah.
Chris Tucker killed it for me. This movie, it kind of took me out of the movie when he showed up eventually.
Really?
It is it is a weird decision. I mean, it's almost like he's an amalgam of like Dennis Rodman and RuPaul and Michael Jackson and like, let's just throw the one black guy. Well, I guess he's not the one black guy.
No, there's a lot of people of color in this.
But like the entertainer, he's like an amalgam of this of entertainment, of celebrity.
Yeah,
you know, it's weird. Again,
it's weird.
I never read too much into this movie. I just thought it looked cool and it was weird. You know?
Yeah.
And it felt like he was shoehorned into the action. You're like, okay, I dug the stones out of this blue lady. Here, take this. And that's the only real reason he's there, just to hold on to the stones while Bruce Willis just beats ass the whole.
Well, he does. He
also screams a lot.
He adds
he screams a lot. Also,
he's comic relief. I love it
he's
when
the damsel in distress. Almost,
he is a damsel in distress. He is the femme fatale in this dude.
He is.
It's true.
In a lot of ways.
I don't know about the fatale, but yeah.
He was. He
was though. He's the scream queen in this movie. He is the person.
That's fucking weird, dude.
It is.
It's really weird, but it works. I mean, it really. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Just not my. I just thought it was just a weird performance from Chris Tucker. That's all. It was like not his strongest. Not his strongest.
But like you said before, Rodman was. I mean, this is the '90s still.
Yeah.
Rodman was still shocking. RuPaul was still shocking.
Yeah.
He was. That's very much like the Harris to me. Is the first thing I thought.
Yeah, it's almost like this
Michael Jackson, the Worm.
Yeah, this whole flamboyant image like fit perfectly in this world or something. I don't know.
Well, I know they wanted Floss in Paradise to be kind of gender fluid, like everybody there.
And they were
when he was going through the celebrities name and this person, and one dude was dressed up like a 1600 aristocrat or something, but he was like the star athlete or some shit, So everybody's supposed to be like that. So you kind of got to go with it, which makes Bruce Willis being, the alpha male he is stand out even more being around all this androgynous.
Is that why that was done? Because that's also a question. Was it?
I do think that is
You're
part of the
looking
reason
for
why
answers. You want why?
I am. I'm trying.
Almost every character in this movie is made to look either dumb or deficient in some way, except for Bruce Willis, who is made to look almost like a god compared to everybody else.
Well, see, and that's the thing about this. Remember, this is the 90s back when movie stars sold movies. And that's not like that nowadays.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But back then, Bruce Willis put butts in the seats. So
they selling comic books now. Keanu selling comic books.
Yeah, nowadays you can stick anybody in a Spider-Man suit and it'll sell. It doesn't matter.
Don't say that shit on the internet. These Tom Holland folks, they
Tom Holland, man. They don't really fuck about
he's
Tom
British.
Holland.
He ain't even from America. Spider-Man British.
Man, they can fuck off with the Andrew Garfield people.
Yeah, and you know what? And they can all fuck off because I wanted to see Donald Glover play Spider-Man, and they ruined that for me. They ruined that for me. They ruined that for me. And they
give me Atlanta season 3 first. Shut up. Nothing before Atlanta season 3. Damn it.
And
that shit. I got to see this European tour.
But back to this did very well in Europe. It smashed box office records.
It did.
Not so much in America though.
No.
I think it was too weird for us because, like I said, because we're into this shit. This is all we talk about 24/7, and we're confused about this fucking movie. So imagine mom and dad going to see this movie like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Because it's Bruce Willis. It's a Bruce Willis space movie.
And Mila Jovovich. People see her in that trailer like, oh shit, I gotta see. She's just wearing Band-Aids. I gotta see this movie.
Yeah, I did see this a couple times.
Definitely just wearing Band-Aids.
I did too. I did too.
Yeah, I saw it multiple times in theater, and I think I responded to the world. It did look like a Mobius strip. I was reading heavy metal at the time in the Inkle and all that shit. So that's what it reminded me of. Corbin. His name was Corbin. That's Richard Corbin, Dan of Earth.
Yes.
And, it made all these
none of that
references
was by accident. Yeah,
none of that was by accident.
like I said, yeah, like you're saying, yeah, the McDonald's sign looked like the Coca-Cola Blade Runner sign. I mean, it was cool to see a sci-fi movie. It was like a throwback to the sci-fi movie that I grew up on. And that's what I responded.
That's
even Corbin Dallas kind of. If you look at the old Flash Gordon movie back in the 80s, almost wearing the same outfit.
Yes, he's wearing the same outfit. Yeah,
this whole movie,
Zorg is very Ming-like.
Bleached blonde hair
about it.
Yeah,
oh, definitely, especially with the whole
the
face mask helmet thing.
Yeah.
This whole movie feels like a love letter to 80s sci-fi movies.
I mean, in a way, sure.
But except they got the budget to do it now when they didn't have it back then.
Yeah, exactly. That was the whole point. It's like, look at all the things that we love and appreciate about movies that had no budget. That like totally innovated a way of storytelling and a way to open our minds and our imagination. And here is someone who grew up, loved all of that, and they got to sort of make this homage to all of these things. Yeah, you're right. The more you think about Fifth Element, there are layers to it, but they don't go deep enough the way some of those things did. But this is like an amalgamation of all those things. We said there is the cops do look like Judge Dredd. Yeah. And if you read 2000 AD, you fucking love Judge Dredd. Yeah. Judge Dredd, by the way, Heavy Metal 2000 AD, that shit is super popular in Europe.
Yeah. Sure.
So that's the kind of stuff he would be reading anyways.
I think that's what draws me to this.
It started in Europe. I mean, the magazine was called like Howling Metal before it was called Heavy Metal or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was in French, like Hello Métial or whatever the fuck it was called.
And this does feel like if you read any of that old 80s heavy metal or 2000 AD, a lot of the imagery in this is very similar.
Yeah,
I think that's what draws me to this movie and why, even if we don't talk about all the contradictions, all the themes, contradicting, all the problems with every damn character, even the ones that show. I mean, every character.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, do I still like this movie?
Exactly. But I do.
I think I brought bad energy.
But you
in
do.
here. That's what
and even on the visuals and the audios, man, the soundtrack for this is amazingly good. Even
it is
outside of Diva Pava Laguna.
Oh yeah, that song on the credits during the end credits. That's the shit.
The way they choreographed the music with Lilu's fight going back and forth from Corbin's fight is very, very well done, man.
Or it's also going to the beat of the Diva's song. Isn't like the Diva singing at the same time?
Yeah. So I think just for those reasons, just the complexity of how ridiculous everything is, how it's hard to like tap this movie down as one thing. I think Jules brought a lot of good insight, with that Paris, French shit. I don't buy it.
Well, the other reason why this movie just works
is that smart. Go ahead.
The other reason why this movie just works is because it just delivers on the action movie element of this movie.
Sure.
Right? Because the whole second half of this movie where Bruce Willis is just shooting Mangalores is awesome.
It is. Yeah.
They're just super great action scenes, and they're funny too. One of my favorite scenes of this movie is that scene where he's in the hallway where the Mangalores have hostage, and he's like, "How many are there?" And the guy's like, "I don't know."
And he
leans over and he shoots a couple, and he's like, "Well, there's 4 now."
Yeah.
I like it when he's like, "Hey, Ruby, hold this." And he's like, "I don't like this man." And then he's Ruby, and he blasts that Mangalore accidentally right in the face.
And then Ruby saying, "I think he'll be okay."
I think he'll be okay. Yeah, this movie it can't figure out what it is, but I just love it. Oh, hey, Cliff.
Hey,
how's it going?
What
Thanks
up?
for stopping by, Cliff. I love Cliff so much.
Talking about your favorite movie, Cliff.
Talking about your favorite movie.
I love this movie because it's a story about a guy that doesn't give a single fuck, stuck in a story where everyone won't stop giving a fuck. Everybody gives so much fucks about what's absolutely happening every single moment.
But he does give a fuck. Though.
He just wants to get laid.
That's the whole point of the movie. The whole point of the movie.
All he
The whole point of the movie is making him give a fuck about getting laid at the end.
That's it. That's the whole story. Is him just like, you know what? I might fuck this girl.
And he's like, I did it. That's the whole
That's it.
scene. I did
I
it.
just gotta say the L word first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I love you. Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't sound convinced when he said it. He was like, "Oh, yeah, I love you." Okay.
Yeah.
Like, guess so? Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Milu don't know no better. She was literally born yesterday.
Yep.
Anything else? Any closing?
Yeah, let's talk about George Lucas, Star Wars.
Oh,
yeah,
go ahead.
do it.
Yeah,
dude.
that scene.
The traffic scene.
Roll the scene. Roll the scene.
What scene?
You know what scene we're talking about? The one you keep showing every 5 seconds.
Which
the one with
one?
Lilu is in the
falling.
yeah.
Yes.
Or just the city.
Oh, dude, this is freaking
That whole scene.
episode 2.
That whole
definitely.
scene.
Okay.
That entire scene is episode 2.
I see
Yes.
where you're going now.
Yes.
Yeah.
that's what-
That entire
exactly.
scene, the whole running to the sea, because that scene was like long as hell in episode
Yes.
2.
When they're chasing the changeling.
George
Yeah,
Lucas
Coruscant.
wholesale ripped this scene off. Even Anakin did that shit. He
Yes.
jumped out of the car and fell and crashed another
Yeah.
car.
Yep.
Yeah, it's weird that like this came out before episode 2, and it looks way better.
It does.
Oh,
What-
It
Right.
stands up so
This
well.
movie looks better than episode 1 and 2.
That's another thing.
Completely.
It stands up. It
Still.
looks great. It has a good balance of practical effects and CGI.
Hey, Cliff loves this movie too. He said,
I don't think he does.
I didn't ask what movie it was. Oh shit, I love this movie. Yeah, The Fifth Element.
Okay,
Everybody
okay.
loves this movie, Cliff.
"Or is he
They
talking
don't
about
fucking
episode
know
2?
why.
He's talking about episode
He could be talking about episode
He could be
2.
giving up episode 2, right?
Oh no, we're not talking about. Yeah, this movie with everything in it, but nothing much to it. Yeah, and it's
This
not
is
a bad
style
thing.
over
No.
substance movie. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
style
You
over
can dig
substance.
into it as much as you want, but it's the style that sold this movie.
Yeah.
And Bruce Willis.
And Bruce
And
Willis.
Mila Jovovich in that ribbon, whatever the hell she was wearing.
My
Man.
only
Oh,
gripe,
yeah.
my only gripe
Gorgeous.
is if the perfect human being should have been played by Salma Hayek, but that's just me. You know.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Was she in Hollywood at the time? I think
don't
she
know.
was.
Oh yeah,
I think she was still. I think she was stuck in
No,
Robert Rodriguez movies at the
She
time.
was
Yeah.
coming out. You know.
Probably,
she
yeah.
was.
She wasn't a thing yet.
Man.
Now, if it
She
came out
was-
90,
I thought she was a thing.
It's hard to argue
She's a thing
Selma
for me.
Hayek. She's 50 and still looks amazing, but I'm pretty sure Mia Jovovich is 50 and she's
I
still
know that fucking From Dusk
Great.
Till Dawn scene very well.
Oh yeah.
I think that came out the same year. So yeah, it was,
Yeah, because Desperado's 95, so she was
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
already.
she was in
this was like
Desperado.
97. This was like 97. I
Yeah,
think.
so
Dust to
2 years
Dawn.
before.
Desperados.
Oh
That's a
man,
good movie.
Cliff thinks we're still talking about Star Wars, y'all. No.
I'm sorry, Cliff. We're talking about
Sorry,
the wrong movie.
Cliff.
Sorry.
We're talking
Like,
about
oh fuck.
we're talking about a movie called The Fifth Element. You should watch it, dude. It's rad. It's
It's
really
rad.
rad.
It's actually
Sorry.
a lot of fun.
Sorry.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
It's a
It's
lot of
weird.
It
fun.
is. That's-
Yeah,
He just left
That's
to go
why
see
it
episode
works.
2 now. This is
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to watch episode 2. Yeah, he's
Just the
yeah,
Dawn show.
he's talking about every
Yeah,
other
right.
fucking movie but the movie we're actually talking about.
From Dusk Till Dawn, our
No,
next
no.
geek pick.
Yes, yes.
Dude, who
Oh,
has
that's a great pick.
well, let's wrap it up. Who's got the next pick? Who does have the next pick?
So
Eli
I
and
think
I
have,
agreed. Eli and I
Yeah.
agreed on what movies we're gonna do next on the
Okay,
last.
No, I
movie
don't listen
podcast.
to the last episode. Is it Belly? You gonna make me
Chris,
watch Belly?
No, yes, Eli's doing Belly, and I'm,
I'm
doing
not
She's
doing
All
belly.
And you're doing what?
That.
She's all that. Belly should have been our February movie. It really should. But we'll figure it out.
I never seen She's All That. So-
Yeah, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat.
It's a fucking class.
It's not a bad movie. I have not seen Belly, but I have seen She's All That. She's All That. It was good.
You're not seeing Belly, you racist bastard.
Yeah, no, come on. Seriously.
She hate me.
Leroy hates Belly. He's a fucking.
I fucking
Uncle
hate.
Ruckus-
But do you
Uncle
know how
Ruckus
much shit
over
I got
here.
in my inbox for saying that? See, Eli, I can't say I hate Billy. People
You don't
shit
like
on me, so
Belly.
what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, man.
I'm not allowed to say I hate Billy. Yes, Belly fucking sucked. I don't care. I say it on this
Yeah,
podcast.
how the fuck you hate Belly?
Dude,
Obviously,
Hey, man.
obviously, your dick ain't hard like Rottweiler.
I can't shit on Scarface either, man.
Oh,
I
Scarface is my
understand.
shit. Scarface is my shit.
Yeah, you know Scarface. Yeah,
I don't want to be
Cuban,
racist.
okay?
I don't want to sound racist,
I-
but
I've heard
I've
that-
never met a black person who did not love Scarface. I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm just saying.
Scarface is one of those DMX too. Yeah, DMX going
Way-
too soon.
way
Yeah.
too soon.
Way too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, dude. I've heard Scarface quotes like my whole. The moment someone finds out I'm Cuban, oh Scarface. I'm like,
Oh, dude, see
God
that's crazy.
damn,
No,
man.
that and boxing, right? They, oh, you boxing?
Yeah, oh,
fan?
boxing, 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 Scarface, Cuban
Her
cigar.
body's so polluted.
And the worst is
Oh,
like,
Cliff, thank you, Cliff. Thank you.
You not
You
love
don't like
Cliff.
Scar.
You don't need that.
Uh-uh.
You're
No,
wrong,
Cliff.
Cliff.
No, we're not going to have this
Thank you,
conversation, Cliff.
Yeah.
It is an amazing movie. Look, let me clarify. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, he loves Fifth Element, but don't like Scarface. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He never said anything about Fifth Element. He said he loved Dustin Dawn. He said he loved episode
episode
2.
Yeah.
He never said shit about Fifth Element.
Dude, you don't like Scarface and you like episode 2? Come on, man. We're gonna have to have a conversation about that.
Any last words on The Fifth Element?
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's
It was
definitely
definitely a
more
movie.
style over substance.
It was definitely a movie. I give that. Yeah.
It's Leroy. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't have chosen this, but yeah, it's
He
okay.
loves Ruby.
Yeah, he
Okay.
loves Ruby Rock.
I was
Ruby Rock course. See, Leroy.
That's awesome.
So I'm just in the island by myself. Okay,
Yeah.
fuck it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
He was the Jar Jar Binks of this movie. He's not,
Definitely,
at least he's not Jar Jar Binks racist.
Oh.
All right, let's wrap. Thank you for listening, everybody. Check out the Comic Book Bullies, please. I think if you go to outrightgeekery.com, we got a bunch of links there, and some of them will take you to Comic Book Bully stuff, but YouTube page, Facebook page, Twitter, social media is all over the place. Parlor app is fixing to come back to iOS, so you guys
They love us over there.
They love you
Beware.
on Parlor.
Beware.
Keep coming back to these channels. The Bully stream here Sundays at midnight, usually in the Monday morning, unless Leroy's going to the Super Spreader event down there in Texas.
I may or may not be.
Yeah, may or may not be back.
Allegedly.
We're doing shit. Oh man, I hate him.
we
This
must
is
do
oh, man,
clips.
We can always go back, man.
Just start over.
yeah,
Yeah.
just go back, start over. It's not interactive. It's not
No,
interactive.
no, it's not that interactive. You can just laugh at us.
But yeah, keep coming back. We got a whole bunch of stuff going down. Next week, Tuesday at the same time, top 5 comic book characters. That is going to be a blast. I cannot wait. Cliff's still going. Oh, he's in Texas. He says that like Texas is Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Texas is like 3 states, man.
It's like half the country and shit.
It's like
yeah.
half the damn country. But yeah, maybe. So, but yeah, keep coming back, and yeah, we're gonna do it again later. Bye, everybody. So classy. Texas is awesome, Cliff.